This week on RSBANDB Update, fishing is reimagined with deep-sea fishing and the depth that it brings to an old but essential skill. We talk XP rates, money-making, and random events that all combine to make it a special update. Also an update on the 4-tick auto-attacking plague. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 661, recorded Thursday, March 8th, 2018. The depths of deep-sea fishing. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us once again for RSBANDB Update. Tanis and myself are back this week.
Thanks for having me, Shane. Can't wait to get into this one.
This week is a monumentous week for RuneScape game updates. Deep sea fishing, this is a very important update. And, you and I were both going into this. We're not obviously huge fans of the fishing skill. It's just something that's there. I never intended to get 99 fishing, but it kind of just happened due to the way invention works, right?
Yeah.
So, and fishing has become more and more a part of the lives of RuneScape and whatnot. So, it's an important skill because it is one of the first skills that was put into game. And, for as long as I could remember, fishing in RuneScape has been, you go to a fishing spot, you click, you wait, the fishing spot moves, you click again, you get some fish along the way. You start with, shrimp and anchovies and whatnot and work your way all the way up to shark. Do you remember the glory days when shark were 1K each, and that was a great money-making method, right? So.
Oh, I remember when they were over that before we even had free trade, and I thought I was going to make a killing from that update because, everybody would be in the wildy and they would need food, and then the economy crashed and I lost all my money.
Yeah.
Was not a smart move.
Nope. And I mean, no one could have predicted what was coming with that. So, this update is important because in addition to being for one of the biggest skills in game and one of the most core skills in game, it is one that was prototyped at RuneFest. And, this is important for that reason because we saw something at RuneFest and lo and behold, here we are. It was just a white box prototype at RuneFest, and now here we are in March, 5 months later, 4 months later maybe, it has now been released into game. And this is the first for the Skilling Diversity Project, which you recall at RuneFest, Mod Ryan and Mod Timbo talked about quite extensively, and this is what they want to do for skills going forward for the next 5 years. So this is, this is a big deal, this update. For that reason, the fact that we're finally focusing on skilling again, and the fact that, what was shown at RuneFest is here. And as far as I can tell in the community, the reception to this update has just been, off the charts. Really, really great.
Yeah, I think this is a really big deal for a number of reasons, but not the least of which is one word: momentum. They have momentum, and that's awesome. And this is what we needed and what we need to be doing. The other thing that I really, really like about this update is we're beginning to see a firm direction in the way that skills are going to be done from here on out. Precisely. And I hope that we stick with that. Precisely. Because I really, really like this way of the more active you are, the better rates you get. You know what I mean? I love what they are doing with this, and it leaves all players to have their own balance and their own style, and it fits in within the skill. If you're casual, you can get that casual rate and you can not feel like you're losing out. And hey, if you're a really sweaty player and you want to fletch while you fish, you can do that too, So
yeah. I'm going to get my only major complaint about this update out the door first then. And that is that, this requires level 68 fishing. You need to go to the fishing guild to access it. And when you click at the fishing guild person there, you talk to Guma, and you're effectively moved away to a map square that is out in the deep sea. But this and the fishing guild both require level 68 fishing. Now, what is the point of the fishing guild going forward?
I have the same exact. That is the only complaint that I had. And I don't even know how, I usually don't like to have a criticism without having a solution. I don't like that. And I don't really have a solution to this because the one thing that I kept thinking is, well, why didn't we just rework the fishing guild?
Yeah. And I can see why the fishing guild is there, because it's a legacy piece of content. It has been in game since that entire membership area north of Ardoin, and basically the huge clump of the membership world came into place back in 2002. So I can see why they wouldn't want to remove it. And, if you're fishing for sharks, out there, the best place to fish sharks is the fishing guild. So,
yeah, and at least there is a tie-in with it. You do get here by doing the fishing guild, and I actually seem to remember was there a quest that we did that we went out in the deep sea via the fishing guild? So we've been out here kind of before, so that's kind of like I can see these tie-ins.
You thinking about fish flingers?
No, it's not fish flingers. This was a quest we had to, and then it was like a little mini quest afterwards. You could do it like 10 more times.
I can't think of what you might be talking about.
It was like, it was some kind of like a sea monster type of thing. Anyway, if you want an easy way to get out here without having to go to the guild, as long as you have 199, use the max garden and just retain that portal.
Oh, the ever-reliance on the max guild.
Well, yeah. Hey, this is just a garden, though. You don't have to be able to get in the max guild.
I guess.
Just need one. It's $1.99.
Which most people who have access to Prif have. So.
Yeah,
Okay. So once you're here, whoa. All you need to say is whoa or wow when you are looking at the graphics of this place.
Yeah.
This is what NXT was built for. This is, it's hard to believe it's RuneScape. And this is, and I like what you said, this is paving the way for many years going forward as to how RuneScape is going to develop. You just have to look around and take it all in.
I couldn't believe when I looked down, I'm like, what was that? Oh crap! Those are fish. Like I could see fish in the water. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Yeah. Really, really, really cool. I've noticed that you can't change the skyboxes.
So you can't. Okay. Yeah,
but...
and there's a reason for that too, I think.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get to that later. So you're here, and I just took a moment and decided to take it all in and expanded the game screen to the maximum resolution, which is 5K on a 27-inch iMac, and it was utterly astounding. So if you have a high resolution screen, I would highly recommend that you go in here full screen at least once to get an idea of the amount of immersion that Jagex has put into this. And if you have a higher resolution screen, that is, all the better. Granted, your chat boxes will be really small, but just go in there for the experience and take it all in what's there for the environment. So, and it's not just visuals. Of course, there's also sound as well. So,
we should do a little PSA here, though. Try to avoid going in here with Java because it's the redneck Riviera. All right, you're just looking at a dinghy and like a board in the water. Like it's not good, guys. They're definitely trying to get away from the Java.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we've talked enough about how it looks, and I'm just going to say for anyone who wants to know how it looks, just go to the YouTube version of the podcast right now, or heck, even go there yourself and you'll see it. So the actual fish that's here, there's a huge variety, and there's something for everyone depending what you want to do. So first and foremost, at the lowest level is level 68 with the magnetic minnows. So there's basically a swarm of minnows that you can go to, and you can basically, just use a small net on and catch these minnows. And, the minnows heal 100 life points on their own, so they're not going to be, something that you're going to eat. But, I mean, you could if you want. Now, the reason you have the minnows here in the first place, aside from a low-level fishing method, is that if you use 300 of these minnows, you can make bait to attract sea turtles, great white shark, or manta rays. And, of course, you'll know that these three, I guess we can call them rare fish, were initially only available with the fishing trawler. So you make this bait, and then you'll see magic fishing spots appear inside of the deep sea fishing area, and then you will be able to fish the great white shark, the sea turtles, or the manta ray without needing to use the fishing trawler. So there's an actual method now where you can go and find these. So,
with the limit of 50 for the spot, it'll go away at 50.
Right, and I think that's a sane number because you don't want to devalue fishing trawler entirely.
I think the fishing trawler is gone.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I think that's why these fish are here.
Yeah, and that's also something that we were just talking about. Okay, so you go to the fishing guild to get to deep sea fishing, but what are you going to do at the fishing guild now aside from maybe fish some sharks? So I don't know. Part of me wishes that this was linked to the fishing guild, but I can see why they didn't do this because this is an entire map square and it wouldn't fit in the area where they were at. So there's that. And, as for fishing trawler, you're probably right because they are going to be looking at mini games going forward. The only reason I would like to keep fishing trawler personally is because that is one of those, early updates that we would do as a team back in the day. And it would be really unfortunate just if something from that era disappeared. So.
Yeah, it'd be sad. But honestly, I think the only people that do fishing trawler now are the people that are finishing off their Ardone task sets.
Right.
Otherwise I don't think it's used, and even the mini game spotlight didn't seem to help it any. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. It's also worth noting here at deep sea fishing there is a bank boat and numerous bank deposit boxes, which are in effect magic nets where you can deposit your fish. So I mean there is no shortage of ways to dump off the fish you've been catching, so that's very nice as well.
And don't scoff at the minnows. It's actually not bad in the way of XP. Nothing here is bad in the way of XP.
Yeah, I think the minnows were around 80k an hour, I think.
Oh, a little more around. I was getting close to 100 the other day.
Okay.
I was getting more from the minnows than I do from the swarm, but the swarm is much higher. That's much
higher quality of fish. We'll
higher
get there,
quality
get there
fish.
in just a moment. So the minnows, I mean, it's a good method, and I think anyone who comes in here with level 68 fishing is going to have something to do, and you're always going to have a use for these minnows going forward. So there's nothing to scoff at with them. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get to the point of this update that everyone has been talking about, and what I think has the potential to be one of the most impactful parts of this update, and that is the jellyfish. The green jellyfish at 68 fishing and the blue jellyfish at 91 fishing. Now, with this, the greens heal 500 per bite for up to 1,500 life points for 3 bites. And right now in game, the blues heal 1,000 per bite up to 3,000 for 3 bites. Though this is going to be nerfed down to 750 life points with next week's update.
Oh, who said that?
Ryan tweeted that out.
Damn it. Why? Quit nerfing
it.
No.
3,000. 3,000.
I know, but we can't have nice things. That sucks.
And, just compare 750 times 3, that's only 2250, whereas with 3000 you are effectively healing more than sailfish soup and rocktail soup. And now
I know.
But this is also the best fish in the game at the time, and makes sense why they're nerfing it, because you can use it without needing to take a tick out of combat, as you can do with a potion. So there's that.
Well, and I think, honestly, I just think that rectified a situation that I never liked. That came in with the EOC. I never liked that your adrenaline was affected by eating. So,
and that's that's the other big thing with these fish, is they don't lower your adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see why they're doing the nerf on that, because that is a very powerful fish, and this is the fish at the end of the day that everyone's going to go for, and there needs to be a choice. A good game, and a good game that has been designed well, has choices to it, and the choices are: do I want, in this case, to have a high healing number, as I could previously get with the blue jellyfish, or do I want? Oh wait, then there's no choice. It's just blue jellyfish all the way. Whereas by taking these down to 2250, you add in a choice: is do I want healing without the tick system and without lowering adrenaline, or do I want to go for max heal with my sailfish soup?
Well, and I think it's good to have that choice. I just hate to see things get nerfed. I'd rather have something come in lower and get a buff than to have something come in nice and then get nerfed. It feels bad.
And I can see the logic in this as to why they did this and why it went into game as is, because 3000 HP, that's one thing, but sailfish soup heals 2600 plus the boost that you get to your life points based on your constitution level. And there are people who would much rather have that boost. There are some people who would rather have that boost when using sailfish soup, compared to people who would just rather heal 3000 off the bat. And I think what Jagex saw is they underestimated what the allure would be to a fish that doesn't lower your adrenaline. They underestimated that. And because on paper, it looks like there's a choice. You either heal 3000 HP, or you spend a boatload of money on sailfish soup, because those are going to be worth more because you need the ports ingredient, and you get a life point boost along the way. So, I mean, on paper, it looks like there's a good choice, a good design choice, but players made that choice in-game differently than Jagex anticipated, so they need to adapt to what players are doing to ensure that there still is a choice to be made, a bigger choice to be made. And
that should have been common sense, though. Like that, anyone could have predicted that. Any player could have predicted that. Look, we might not be like elite PVMers or something, so is a bigger, chunk of healing good for us? Sure. But most people that do that, enjoy that, they're not hurting for food to begin with.
Yeah.
They're never going to be in danger of dying like that. So to be able to not affect your adrenaline, that's huge. I mean, of course you're going to pick that.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. And that's why a bigger choice was needed to be added. And I mean, maybe it didn't get run by the PVM team who develops various PVM updates, like maybe Solak and whatnot. And you can kind of see where that's going from there. So
now, what I want to know though, with that nerf, is that still going to render Cerebrews meaningless?
I don't think so.
Because that was the only draw for him.
I don't think so, because Ceradoan brews still give you a defense buff.
But you're overloaded anyway.
Good point.
I think it might be RIP Cerebrews. Oh no, Shane, there goes your grapes. It's not good. It was all fun and games until they messed with farming.
Well, that's something that we're going to have to consider going forward, I guess. How much does a Saradomin brew heal for, a 6-dose flask? What is it per dose?
Oh, geez.
I haven't used them in years, so I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not good enough to use them.
1,000 life points per sip.
That's what I thought.
You can go over your maximum by 15%. It's temporary. So, no, see, and maybe this is another reason that they did it.
Okay.
Maybe another reason they did it, because these were competing with Saradomin brews.
Yeah, okay. That would be 6K a slot.
And
okay.
I mean, there's even more choice being added here now, because the Saradomin brews give you a further defense buff. The Saradomin brews, if you're not overloaded, lower your other skills. So there's choices to be made. And with the choices to be made, I think that fully demonstrates why the nerf is needed, because it just adds more choice. And more choice is good.
Usually, yeah.
So I don't know. I feel fine with the nerf. How do you feel now that we've kind of hashed it out?
I mean, I understand it was necessary. I just, I'm just never been a big fan of like the nerfing stuff. But no, yeah. It probably was. Yeah. I wasn't going around saying, "Oh, this is so OP" or anything, because I don't like getting on that whole it's OP bandwagon type of thing. But it probably did need to go down. I think 750 it's appropriate. I think it's probably appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And I think you can also still tag this together with your Saradomin brews, because I mean you can just pop them in alongside your Saradomin brews. An example that Tycho gave us was you can take a sailfish soup, a blue jellyfish, and a Saradomin brew. Bang! You have one tick to eat the soup, and then the other blue jellyfish and Saradomin brew are independent of ticks. So bam, 4,600 life points healed.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
As is right now, and just lower it by a bit, bring it down to like 4,450, I believe that would be. So, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now on to XP for these. There's green jellyfish and blue jellyfish. If you continue to fish the blue jellyfish that are electrified for too long, you do have a negative debuff put onto you. So there are reasons for you to also fish green ones along the way, because that removes the buff. So, once again, this is a dynamic gameplay experience here. Green come in at around 110k XP per hour on their own in terms of fishing XP. Apparently, if you boost up maximum, you can get that up to 120, 125k XP an hour. Now, for the blues, that's 140k XP an hour and 160k XP per hour if you put your all into it and go for maximum boosts on that. So, I think this is a good XP rate. There's reasons to still do the waterfall, I think, right? And that was something.
There's tons of reasons to do the waterfall. Look. All of this whole update fit in a really good spot that we probably thought fishing was all fleshed out, but it wasn't. I mean, Minifoss added a little bit of variety, but it was still on the lower level. Whereas this, okay, you got to think all the way from like, gosh, I don't even know, like monkfish, and then there's barbarian. And you do barbarian until you do the waterfall. And that's it.
Yep.
And waterfall is still the best rate until you get into the fish frenzy. But this, you're actually getting something for it. So that's nice. And the rates aren't terribly bad. And they're not that far off from waterfall. I mean, they're off. But I don't know. I think they actually balanced it really, really well. I think this occupies the right space, and I didn't know how they were going to do that, but they did.
Yeah, they definitely did. this is something that we were expecting to happen, at some point, was that we wanted to see the waterfall fishing rates nerfed with this. And,
I didn't.
well,
you just hate the waterfall.
I hate the waterfall because it doesn't fit with the lore.
Yeah.
And, waterfall fishing, I think, was what? 300k XP an hour?
It's about 280, yeah.
Yeah, about 300k XP an hour. So, we eclipsed that with this. And there is nothing here that gives 300k XP an hour and is AFKable.
No.
And it can potentially give stuff to sell. Now, you might be wondering, why are the jellyfish so low on the XP rate of, 160k XP an hour? Well, it's because if you look at what's going on right now with the market, you're going to see, whoa, these things are actually kind of expensive, and maybe fishing can make some money this week.
Well, and you got to look at where it says. Where those jellyfish are is where the barbarian is. And this gives you an option. You don't keep any of those fish. Those fish aren't good for anything. So, I mean, you're doing the RuneScape waltz here, the two-step. You're 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, putting it in your action bar so you can drop the fish like crazy. It occupies the same space and gives you a choice. So I think it's really well placed where they put that. So the 160 is even, that's even more. Like 140 to 160. That's a little bit more than barbarian even.
Oh yeah, so, definitely.
I think it's just the right spot. I mean, they really hit that sweet spot with the jellyfish.
And the jellyfish on their own right now are currently going for about 3,100 GP on the Grand Exchange value.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a way to make money. I don't know if it's going to persist. There are other ways to make money in this update. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, when was the last time fishing was thought of as a way to make money?
Fishing used to make money?
Yeah, it used to. It used to with sharks back in the day.
That was before my time. Yeah, but sharks, man, God, it took so long to fish them. And rocktail, yeah, you could make money, but it took so long to fish them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sorry. R.I.P. rocktail, too, by the way. Bye. Fun while it lasted. Yeah.
So the point I think we're trying to make here is that when it comes to it, Jagex could very well have put into game and a fishing spot that rivaled Waterfall, that gave something in addition to it. But that would have been outside of balance, and they didn't do that. So that's good. Now, with that being said, I think that they just have done a good job with the balancing on this. And looking at where things fall in the XP charts, I don't know if Waterfall actually needs to be nerfed after this.
No, I don't think so. I think because look at it. We haven't even gotten to some of the other things that are available here. We still have to tell all listeners about the sailfish, and man, wait till we get to the fishing frenzy. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. So, there are two ways to make money with this RuneScape update. That is, of course, the jellyfish, the blue jellyfish, and the sailfish, which I think we can talk about now because we've covered the key points on the jellyfish. So sailfish are at level 97 fishing. They can be caught in swift, regular, or calm spots. Swift spots give more XP, 420 versus the 400, and have a higher catch rate. Regular spots will last longer, but have a lower catch rate than that. And calm spots just last longer than regular spots. So you're going to be getting a little bit more XP if you go for the Swift spots, 20 more XP per. So it's a nice little buff.
I just love the mechanics they put in this with that. To be able to, like you said, it's about choice. It's about picking, whether you're going to be in that calm or the Swift spots or, a mix of both. But those only show up once in a while. I love that. For so long, the philosophy had been, well, you can either make money or you can get XP. I like to see that it's being tied to our activity and how hard we are working. To me, that makes much more sense, and I'm really glad to see the way it's playing out in this update.
Yeah, definitely. When cooked, they require level 99 cooking. You can heal for 2,400 life points. And they heal 10% above the player's maximum life points, just like rocktails do, kind of. And if you combine them with spices from your player-owned port, you can make sailfish soup, and that heals for 2,600, making it the highest tradable food existing in RuneScape right now. Now, you might be wondering, what can this do? Well, currently, sailfish soup is going for 8,000 GP on the Grand Exchange. Yesterday, I sold about 200 of them for 14K each.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I'm not expecting these numbers to continue, but at the same time, why not?
Soup numbers might, just because spices are not easy to come by, and not everyone does their ports. So,
I'm thinking of actually changing my Ancient Bones icons at the port to spices.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Although, man, I can't get enough bones. Them scrimshaws.
Yeah. There's a story about that too at some point, but we'll spare the listeners from that. These come in at around 130k XP an hour or 160k XP an hour if you're going for maximum boosts. Of course, take these numbers with a grain of salt. Your mileage may vary on these. I think that this is, if I had to choose one spot and I had the ports ingredients, I would be doing sailfish.
Yeah, I mean, the sailfish it's definitely nice. And it's double the XP of what I like to do. It's definitely a good, I'll tell you, it's a great alternative to like Rocktail.
You
catch
definitely.
them so much faster. They heal 100 more. It's really nice. Like I like the old sailfish, and you can see them in the water too. That's the cool part. Like to look at them.
Yeah.
At least I think they're sailfish.
The invention XP for sailfish, no, you don't want to do that. Or for jellyfish, no, you don't want to do that. That's not somewhere where you're going to go train fishvention.
No, not really.
No. So that would be more of a crystal rod kind of deal where you would want to augment that rod. And, I am going to guess that you can plop that Prosper perk on that rod, as well as potentially the perk that transmutes items into 1 tier higher. Though I don't know what sailfish would transmute into because they're already at the highest.
I don't think it would.
Yeah,
I don't think it could.
Blue jellyfish, though, might be interesting to try and transmute.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they might transmute into sailfish if I remember my reading correctly. So
that makes sense.
And you see what we are doing here. We have talked about 3 different fishing spots, and so far there are 3 different ways of training fishing here that are all very useful depending on your level, depending what you're going for, and depending what your end goal is. And that is what was encompassed in the skilling diversity talk at RuneFest. So I'm just really happy. If we stopped right here, I would be completely happy with this update.
But wait, there's more.
That's right. Next is the Fishing Swarm, which is effectively ZMI runecrafting except for fishing. Gives you random fish that are scaled to your level. Around 80k XP an hour, maybe 100k XP an hour, depending on what you're doing, what boost you have running. I know you said you got close to 100k XP an hour.
Yeah, I was running like 89, 90 a lot of times. And this is my spot right here. This is my jam. I'm loving I'm loving the swarm. I never got to do the whole CMI rune crafting thing. Because by the time I started, RuneCraft came out maybe 6 months, a year later, something like, or RuneSpan, 6 months to a year. So, I mean, you never really did in ZMI after that. But I like this because the blue jellies and the sailfish, and I like both. And the lowest fish I've caught was a K-fish, and that's like very rare. Usually the lowest fish you'd get is a rocktail. So I just been fishing them so that I can work on 120 cooking slowly and stuff. And yeah, I really like the swarm, and I've been getting the little perks doing this too. So I've gotten like a broken fishing rod and a tangled fish bowl, and I've got a fishing note. And can we talk about clues? Because I have gotten so many clues so far.
Really? What tier?
Yeah, hard ones.
Okay. All right. That's interesting because elites are supposed to start appearing at around level 60.
Yeah, I know, but I'm getting a lot of the hard clues here. Now, if you want elites, I get elites quite a bit doing the divination bubbles, but yeah, I've been getting the hard clues here, so it's a good place for that too.
Yeah, and you mentioned various boosts that you can find. So there's 3 different boosts you can find, in this general area. One is the barrel of bait, and this grants you a 5 to 10% chance to gain an extra catch for 3 minutes. A broken fishing rod is 5 to 10% bonus catch rate for 3 to 30 minutes, depending. And the tangled fishing bowl is an extra 5% fishing XP for 30 to 30 minutes. So you can basically choose this, what you get based on little random things that you find. And I guess maybe now is a good time to say that if you are a Gold Premier Club member, you can go to the Guardian of the Vault and claim a free bait, or sorry, not a free bait, basically a free bottled boost, and this bottled boost will grant you your choice of one of the 3 boosts that we've just talked about here. I don't think this is too overpowered for the Guardian of the Vault here. Oh,
no, not at all.
And I mean, it's only
one. Might
not
be powered enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare it to a Master Clue scroll and the chance of getting an iced eye off that, there's a big difference there, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about the fishing swarm. It's just there. It's just a nice way of getting a variety of fish. Laid back fishing method.
Yeah,
100K XP an hour, give or take. 90K.
And it's definitely the most. I would say it's the most AFK of all the spots, and yeah, I like it. So.
All right, and that requires 68 fishing, so you can start that as soon as you get there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up is Fishing Frenzy, which is level 94 fishing. This was prototyped at RuneFest. This is high intensity, high XP. It's effectively whack-a-mole for fishing.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. And
I was going to ask you, I was curious as to how this worked out for you in terms of vision and accessibility.
Well, not super great. I don't have a very high streak. But it's look, I still like what they've done with it, and for the most part, I can catch most of them. But sometimes, if it gets outside of my field of view, then I kind of get screwed. But yeah, which is why that's the only reason I know that you can't change the filters, the skyboxes.
Okay, I see.
I bet if I got a little bit darker here, I'd be able to catch these a lot better, but nope, couldn't do it.
So these ones, this blows waterfall fishing out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
And, in hindsight, 280, 300K XP an hour is fine for waterfall fishing when you consider what you have to do to get the XP rates here. So if you're just moseying on along and you're not trying to, do your streak right, you can probably gain around 200K XP an hour if you're, just having a moderate streak here at Fishing Frenzy. And, you know, if you're doing that, I mean, you're putting a bit of effort in, but you might not be putting the full effort in. And you should just ask yourself, okay, if I'm getting, you know, less than 300k XP an hour doing this, why aren't I just at the waterfall? Well, the reason you want to do this is because you want to give your full attention to this. Because, well, I guess we should explain how it works here. This is going to be getting a change next week. So when you're hearing this, you know, starting the Monday following the update, they're going to be changing it so that as soon as you click on a spot, your streak increases. You don't need to wait for yourself to successfully catch the fish. Because right now, you click on one of the fishing spots and you start fishing on that spot. And then once you pull a fish out of that spot, your streak increases by 1. And with your streak increasing by 1, for every 10 streak that you get a 1% boost for the total amount of XP that you're going to get with this, up to a maximum streak of 200 or 20% XP boost. So that is why you want to do this. If you're just doing it to, you know, get maybe, you know, somewhere in between, you're going to get better mileage elsewhere fishing. And I think that's why they didn't touch the waterfall, because there needs to be a way to adjust this. And, you know, you guys have well heard that I've been full on record of hating the waterfall, and I think that the waterfall should never have been put into game, and I still believe that. But I think that the way this update dropped and the way the XP has floated around with this, waterfall is fine where it is right now, 280 to 300k XP an hour. So let's say you're fully attentive here. You're fully attentive, 200 streak, 400,000 fishing XP an hour. Factor in maximum boosts, you can reportedly get this up to 500k XP an hour. 500k fishing XP. With max boosts, full attention at Fishing Frenzy. And I went up to a streak of 123 or something along the lines of that. Not bad. And at that point, it was time to move on and do other things and test things. But this was the fastest that I have ever leveled a Rotomatic. So this, I think, unless you're doing, you know, high-level combat with your scythe and you're sucking the XP out of that every so often, I think this is the new go-to for Invention XP.
Yeah, and well, you know, and it works the same way. XP. If you're going to be attentive, then you get a more of a reward. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, it's up to you if you want to go that far in, because I mean, there's like a 6-second gap in between where you can actually do something. It's like 11 ticks or something, they said, so just over 6 seconds. And I mean, it's up to you if you want to take that chance and type a message into your chat to talk to someone with this and potentially risk losing your streak. But this is the decision that you have to make, is how attentive am I going to be at this, and is it going to be worth the XP? So, you know, I did some reading around. People had mixed feelings about this. People thought it wasn't powerful enough in some cases. I mean,
what did they expect? Wow, it's still fishing.
And
come on.
And that led to the question being asked on the live stream: How come it's not more? They Mod Ryan right out said, if it was more, this would be making fishing a 700k XP an hour skill. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, that just doesn't make any sense. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a gathering skill. So 500k an hour on a gathering skill is pretty damn good. Don't spoil us too much now.
I think that this is the crowning achievement of this update, because we have been all around the block in this. We have a low-level fishing method in terms of the minnows and the swarm. We have mid to high-level methods being the jellyfish. We have high-level methods being the sailfish. And those mid to high-level methods in sailfish included can be used for exchange purchases and money. So there's that.
Yeah.
And then you have the highest end of it, where you have maximum XP. And I don't want to go too far with this, and I don't want to say that this is the be-all and end-all of RuneScape skilling and if it can be made better or whatnot going forward. I think there's always improvements to be made and whatnot with this. But one thing I do think that we can look at going forward is after these initial round of tweaks hit it next week, this needs to be looked at as to a hallmark of what Jagex can do specifically for XP rates and rewards for skills.
Well, and this is a proper template for how you add something like this. How you would do a rework, whatever you do in skilling, this is a template, right?
Yep.
You want it to feel the same. You want things to kind of work the same, but giving people options. Like,
it feels exactly like mining and smithing in that regard.
It does. Yes, it does. And I thought of that when I started messing with it on Monday. I thought it reminded me a lot of that. And I thought this is the direction they're going, and this is, the way that I hope it stays, because it's really good. And there's still more. That's just the meat on the bone. We still have some garnish to sprinkle on, man.
Some big garnish.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with something that's actually really huge right now, and that is Tavia's fishing rod. So
Tavia's fishing rod.
Tavia's fishing rod. Hazelmere's signet ring. Orlando Smith's hat.
It's probably not worth what Hazelmere's is, but
No, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see.
Now, this is going to be a stupidly rare item that was brought into game, just like Hazelmere's signet ring. And according to Mod Timbo, it's going to be very rare to begin with, and if it is too rare, they're going to watch the drop rates for it, just like they did with the ring. And this is an item that you can just randomly get while you are fishing in the deep sea fishing hub. It just appears randomly in your inventory. Its passives and its buffs apparently have a chance of granting all deep sea fishing boosts for 10 minutes if the player is using it, and for 2 minutes to the surrounding players. They put this on the Grand Exchange with a value of 100 million GP, but one can only guess where this is going to go after this. And these are the boosts we talked about previously. 5% fishing XP, 10% additional chance to gain a catch, and 10% fishing rate boost. So, this is just something that can appear randomly. And this is what they're doing with these skills.
Well, I think it's a fun item. I don't think the boosts aren't like overpowered or anything, and I don't think that is what will keep its value. I think its value will come from its rarity.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even know if people will use it rather than just keepsaking it so that they can go around with their fishing pole. I mean, I don't know, but it's cool. It's just that added little something that could happen while you're here.
And, I don't know anyone who's got this yet, but it would be very amazing to see this happen. So maybe it's a reason to go fishing. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned other pieces of icing on the cake, and you also mentioned that you were a little bit disappointed that you couldn't change the skybox for this. Well, that is because part of this update actually relies on the skybox. There's a chance of random events happening at the deep sea fishing hub, and when that happens, the sky turns dark.
Yeah.
Hence why you cannot change the skybox, I'm guessing. Now, that's an issue for you, and I think it just shows that initially that the skyboxes were not probably thought to be accessibility updates, but they are. Yeah. They were one of the largest accessibility updates that ever came in. So I don't know. It'd be nice if they could find some kind of middle ground, or maybe some way of allowing the skybox to change, or providing some additional way of signaling that the random event is there if you have the dark skybox enabled. So because I know that would help you greatly.
Oh yeah, it would be. It would be huge. Well, and when the sky does darken, it is a lot easier for me to kind of see what's going on. But I don't even know. I don't know. I guess it adds to the atmosphere of what's going on. But especially if you're on a deep sea fishing world, you see everybody running. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Or maybe, you know how Claudia always had the little, like, the water droplets or something? You could do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's talk about random events.
Yeah. Have you got to do any of those yet?
Yes, I did, actually.
Oh, cool.
I have run into a good number of them. Have you?
No. I actually haven't got to do any of them. I saw the sky darken. I'm like, what's going on? And, but I'm always so far away. Like, and I'm like, do I really want to leave? And I just haven't left.
Okay. So one of them is a whirlpool, and this is just a standard whirlpool, and it is, in effect, a GP sync. They have added this as a way to, just sync GP out of the game, and lots of people are using it. Lots of people are using it. Within 10 hours of this update coming out, 56 billion worth of GP was thrown into the whirlpool. 7 players put more than 5 billion GP in. 15 players put 1 billion GP in, give or take.
So I'm really hoping that next week Solomon's comes out with a Whirlpool outfit, because I'm taking donations. I mean, jeez, you talk about a GP sync. Wow, that's just stupid money.
Yeah, and I mean, you can use it to get the titles that you could previously get at the Well of Goodwill, and that's all you get from it.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So that's number one. Number two is a whale, and as it turns out with the whale, one of the fishermen has been caught up in the whale, and you need to rescue him from it. So basically, all you do is you just go fish at the whale, you get some minnows, and if you are successful, your entire people who are there with you, if you guys are successful, this will grant you a 10% fishing rate boost, lasts for 10 to 30 minutes based on how much you did. And this is another reason why, if you are doing deep sea fishing, you should try and do it on World 116 or a populated world, because these random events are more easily completable if there are more people around you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's the logic to making fishing a social skill, and I think they've succeeded in that, because some of these other random events are just downright stupid in what they give, and I say that in a good way. Another one that can appear is Arcaneo, which is a mystical fish that grants all 3 fishing buffs to the player, with a 5 to 10% chance to gain an extra catch for 3 minutes, granting 5 to 10% bonus catch rate for 3 to 30 minutes, and 5% fishing XP for 3 to 30 minutes as well. So that's another one you can get. There are also the deep sea encounters, which was the whale, as I mentioned. The jellyfish invasion, remove jellyfish from the docks. This one will give you XP boost. Sea monster, feed the sea monster, and if you feed him with a good amount of raw fish, 10% chance to gain an additional catch that lasts 10 to 30 minutes. You get the raw fish from a crate that's on the dock. So those are the deep sea encounters. And now perhaps the most interesting one. The one that people have not seen that much is the traveling merchant. Now, this seems overpowered on the core of it, because this traveling merchant gives a good number of items that many people are going to want. Now, all you need to do is you go up to him and you chat with him. And the store I saw on the second day had the option of 5,000 RuneSpan points for 250k, or 20 Reaper points for 1.2 million GP.
That's awesome. I wish I have seen him. I have not seen him at all. But wow.
And you missed out. You missed out on some of the better ones, in my opinion.
I know.
You ready for these?
Yeah.
Shattered Anima, 750k for a random amount of anima between 500,000 and 2 million from Shattered Worlds.
Man, that would have been nice.
Anima Crystals, which grants reputation in the heart of Gielinor. Sacred Clay, which grants stealing creation points. Gobi Burial Charm to advance your Gobi reputation. so as you can see, these are items that are in-game available from other reward shops, and this time they are available for GP. So you can see this is another thing that Jagex did with this update, is that not only do we have the Whirlpool, but we also have this reward shop, which acts as a GP sink.
And it's limit 1 per customer.
That's right.
So, not OP.
Today's apparent availabilities are an advanced pulse core for 800,000 GP. So here we have even a treasure hunter item that was put on here. A Menophyte gift offering, medium-sized, that is available for 300,000 GP. And this gives you 900 reputation in Menaphos.
I'd pay more.
Yeah, I know lots of people would pay more for that.
But once it's gone, it's gone, right? Once
That's
you buy
right.
it once,
It's gone,
you
it's
never
gone.
get to buy it again.
It's gone. And today's also is other one is a large Gobi burial charm. And these items are going to be seemingly random. Jagex says they have about 1,000 days worth of items they want to sell that are put up here. So chances are you're not going to see Shattered Worlds anima or the Reaper points or the unstable air runes from RuneSpan for a long time reappearing.
Hey, as long as I catch whichever one has to do with Livid Farm, I'll be a happy guy.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Here, take my bank. I don't care.
And, you know, initially it was thought that this might be something where, you know, you can have a huge number of them and you could just, you know, dump GP on it. But one per customer in most cases. So that helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
And this is a very special merchant shop because it is random to the deep sea fishing world. There is no time that the random events appear, and there is no guarantee as to which random event will appear for you.
Yeah.
So there are lots of reasons to be at this update, and I think that you know, sums this update up very nicely in that we wanted to see something for skilling that was going to make the experience more diverse. They delivered on that. They delivered on a supreme visual experience. They delivered on a variety of XP training methods, including some that give GP, which, if you recall the 2017 survey, was one of the things that people wanted. And what we need to guarantee going forward is that the jellyfish and the sailfish are not going to be dropped by NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
So, overall, I'm very happy with this update. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about it, except for, you know, if you want to reimagine fishing in RuneScape, this is the way to do it. And I actually like fishing after this update.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's they did a really good job. So good on Jagex, and like I said, going into this, I wasn't excited. I didn't really care one way or another, and I didn't think we even really needed it. Seeing it now, I love it. So, and those are my favorite kind of updates. The ones where I'm like, you know, it might be cool, but then they come and you're like, wow, that was really, really good. So good job, Jagex. Keep up the good work.
100% agree with that sentiment. And with that, I think we can move on to the patch notes for the week. I think I covered most everything we needed to hit on there, XP rates, GP-wise, and, of course, what makes this update truly special. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
We got some doozies in here, don't we?
Yeah, so the options menu has been rearranged for a wider view. And, you know, you might be wondering, wow, okay, what is this? Well, you press escape, and it is now wide instead of vertical. And, you know, I'm not going to go through the individual patch notes for this and tell you what's all here. You'll just see it when you press escape. The graphics and interface settings have all been combined into one settings button, so you don't have those extra buttons. The edit button for your presets has now just been made edit layout, and in there, that's where you save your presets going forward. You can still have the drop down for loading a layout, which is good. And they also added a report button, so you can access the report interface either for a player or a bug now by just pressing escape and clicking there. And perhaps most importantly, there is now, did you enjoy playing RuneScape today? A thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I don't know about it. I just don't know. When I heard about the feedback buttons, I thought, I don't know if that's a good idea. But when I saw it, and I saw it with just a thumbs up, thumbs down, I thought, well, that's good. But then I thought, yeah, but I don't want someone that has just like went on a 30 kill dry streak, and now they're ticked off, and they're like, oh, I hate this game. Yeah. But it's like, it's not the game's fault, man.
I don't, and see, I have mixed feelings about this because, I mean, you can potentially troll Jagex with this by saying no every time.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they want to improve, but it's just too many. I just feel like it's too many variables. There's just too many variables. I don't think you could count on the feedback that you're getting, and if you can't count on the feedback, then what good is it?
Yeah, I agree. Anyways, also with this, the logout from Facebook option for those using Facebook single sign-in has been removed as it was not working correctly. Feedback buttons were added. We just talked about those. You can troll Jagex with them, though you should be honest with that when you press escape. And the logout button in the top right-hand corner of the minimap now takes players to the options menu rather than to a confirmation screen about whether they want to quit.
Yeah.
And, for me personally, that logout menu up at the top right on the minimap has always been too small to click, so I always just press escape.
Yeah, it's I don't like doing that either. I almost always just let mine log because it's hard to hit. Yeah.
Continuing on from this, a warning confirmation message now appears when players start crafting elite Robin Hood equipment and limitless stabs, explaining that this will make the items untradeable. Good.
Yep, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I totally agree. The click area for players who have turned into trees using a ring of tree is now smaller.
That's it's probably good.
I mean, just this sentence: the click area for players who have turned into trees.
I know. I want one of those rings now.
Me too.
Like, yeah. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Iced
so
eyes.
They've shrunk our wood.
Iced eyes have been added to the treasure trail collection log.
Okay.
The Towers Puzzle check button now recognizes completed puzzles in all instances, and the Towers Puzzle check button now correctly handles various inventory and puzzle states. So you can tell there were some little bugs happening behind the scenes here that were probably pretty rare with these puzzles. So that's been changed for good. The dissolved clue scroll message no longer appears on all failed clue scroll rolls when that tier of clue scroll is disabled. And the dissolved clue scroll message now only appears when a clue scroll would have been rolled. And, this is, of course, if you have the option enabled where you don't want clue scrolls. So, yeah.
We have an option
to
you not get clue scrolls?
Yeah. For some reason, people don't want them.
Well, because we don't want troll drops. If you don't do them, you don't want beams.
I guess. But who doesn't want to do clue scrolls?
This guy.
I guess. Oh, right. Yes, right. We talked about that last week.
Right. Yeah, that was last week.
Players can now purchase items from the Dungeoneering reward store with the Garagian outfit equipped, even when they can only afford the cost of the discounted Dungeoneering token. Not sure what that means because I don't do Dungeoneering.
I mean, I guess it's cool you can access the store from the outfit, but I don't know what the rest of that means.
Yeah. All right. The augmented staff of limitless steam now provides fire and water rune energy, not earth and water energy.
Well, that would make sense now, wouldn't it?
And clicking on the currently selected tab in your bank now scrolls the player back to the top of that tab.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little update to the bank. Seems like a ninja fix. So, All right. So that's the patch notes. Time to talk about what's coming in March. Did you get a notification last weekend when you logged into the game that had Maud Osborne's shining face on it?
Sure did. Yep.
I mean, people say it's better than the Treasure Hunter promotion, and I'm inclined to agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give them that. I'll give them that, yeah. So I was like, what is this?
Yeah, so month ahead, of course, we had deep sea fishing. We also have Pieces of Hate arriving this month. That's going to require 81 construction, 82 firemaking, 83 agility, 85 thieving, and 110 combat is recommended, as well as completion of Gertrude's Cat and a Clockwork Syringe. That'll, of course, be the Pirate Quest, and I know lots of people are very excited for this, and you know, I am a quester. I am a part of the questing clan quest, and it's always, and you know, this is some update we never have a shortage of people for. I have a hard time deciding who is going to be on this episode because so many people are interested in doing this pirate quest and coming on the show to discuss it. So we'll be having lots of fun with this quest when it arrives because it is also a Mod Raven quest. And
that's always fun. I hate to see what kind of puzzle he has put in there to punish us. But the pirate quest line, it's always been a fun quest line. I've always really liked them. I mean, I'm sure we'll have to read all of this one too, but I love it when they tie stories up and they finish them. And this has been a long time coming, so cool. I don't know. I kind of can't wait to see what we're going to get with this. Oh, well, we're also actually going to get some new creatures. With that, right?
These are going to come out before the quest.
Oh, will they? Okay.
According to the live stream. And these are the updated horrors, including unspeakable horrors. Now, the reason they're doing this is to give a graphical update to the existing ones and the black mask that you can also get for a drop, which back in the day was a huge, boost to Slayer XP and whatnot. So they're effectively bringing these into the modern era, and the unspeakable horrors will have a chance of dropping new combat abilities that are free to play. They're going to be tied to ranged and magic, and they're going to be called Shock and Horror for magic at level 3 and level 15, and Demoralize and Rout at level 3 and 15 ranged. And they're said to be similar to the Stomp and Kick abilities that exist for melee.
Okay. Well, anytime we get more abilities, I like that. I like more choice.
I mean, they're builders, for adrenaline and whatnot, and we definitely do need that. The creatures aren't themselves free to play, but they are going to be tradable on the exchange. So everyone will be able to access these, which is good, I think.
Oh, yeah. Give us that free to play goal.
And it's going to be a mid-level Slayer update too. It's going to be level 58 Slayer. So it's not going to be something that you're going to get assigned if you're using Kuradel or Morvrin, which I think is good, because there are people in that level 58 Slayer range who, they need a new drop too. Like, it doesn't make sense to have stuff tailored towards the very high end of the game, right? So,
it's all about filling in the gaps. So that's that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to this one, and I don't really usually look forward to quests. So
yeah, well, I mean, the unspeakable horrors are separate from the quest. They're going to be out before.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's mostly harmless.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's all pirates, mate.
Yeah, true. All right.
It's all in the same. Well, because hey, wait, you have to do the pirate line to get to Masla Harmless, right?
That's right.
So they are tied. kind of, in a way.
Also, they are updating the drop tables and graphics for all the horrors that are there. So there's something for everyone, I guess, then, if you want to go there and visit those.
Mm-hmm.
Also this month, the Spring Fair, there's going to be no Easter event this year.
Yay.
Except the Spring Fair is going to be tailored towards more of an Eastery theme. And, of course, tribute to Gothics and Butterflies, their way of remembering Gothics every March.
At least we're not getting punched in the face by monkeys, okay? That's all I can say about it. I don't care if there's ever an Easter event. At least we're not getting punched in the face by monkeys.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad to see. I don't mind Christmas. Christmas to me is very
important.
It's very important. It's traditional, and honestly, I mean, you can look at it as a very secular holiday if you want to. Easter, not really the same thing. So,
and I feel also with that I mean, it would be. I'm trying to think of a way that they could, shoehorn the actual meaning of Easter into a RuneScape update, but I think that would be pushing it a little bit far, and I don't know how they would do that.
I think it's pushing it just way, way, way too far.
I mean, I'd personally like to see it. I'd like to see them try and do something like that. Though I don't know the best way that they could accomplish that in game.
See, I'm glad to see it move away from Easter. I think if they wanted to have some kind of a, I don't know. I think we could do something like they do with the butterflies, but we could have a holiday celebration of Gothics or something like that. That I would be fine with. But I'm actually kind of glad to see that we're moving away from this real world religious holiday. Tell you the truth.
As long as they don't do the same thing for Christmas or Halloween.
Well, I don't. But see, I think Halloween and Christmas both are very, very secular. Other than the name Christmas, there's a lot of celebrations during that time that can be encompassed by a celebration like that.
It's just a little unfortunate that sometimes with the name Christmas, everything does get secularized and people move towards more of a consumerist culture in real life with that. And I have always been one for traditional events in RS, and I think that after you had events like Sliske and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
No, but
I did not like that event.
Well, I don't either. But look at the events that we did, like with reindeer and Santa Claus and snowmen, and the good ones. It doesn't matter whether you have some kind of a religious connotation to it or if it's purely secular. The good things about Christmas is coming together, it's sharing, it's giving, it's all of those things, and all of the good RS holiday events, they all have those things in common. That's why I'm not sorry to see Easter go, but I would throw an absolute shit fit over Christmas. Like, I would.
All right. Also this month, we have a new Solomon's General Store. All the Shadow items will be available once again for 1 week only, including the Shadow Drake, Gorilla, and the accompanying outfits with them, if you didn't pick those up in the meantime. Yeah. And, of course, the King and Queens of Spades outfit, which came out this week. So that's what March looks like. And, I mean, we're obviously going to also have the odd treasure hunter promotion in there as well, but I think that goes as is. The King and Queen of Spades outfit, I think, looks good. I'm assuming it can be recolored, though it's not my kind of outfit.
Yeah, I don't know if you could recolor that or not. Reminds me of the whole like Alice in Wonderland or something. Right. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea either. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, hey, if you haven't bought your flying pterosaurs to annoy the piss out of all the people around you, make sure you go and do that.
Oh, you would not believe how many of those we saw on Double XP weekend.
I would. Look, I got one because I love dragons, but I try to be polite with it.
Ay, ay, ay. All right. Well, that takes us nicely into the month ahead Q&A that took place on Twitch this week. Jagex talked about the updates that were at hand for the month, and they started off directly with a bit of a showcase for deep sea fishing with this because it's the update, and they definitely had lots to say about this. Though nothing we haven't said thus far. Mainly, they did bring focus to the Tavia's rod and the 10 billion, or sorry, the 56 billion worth of gold that was thrown into it. So, so yeah, that's a thing. That's a big thing. We also had a good discussion on Pieces of Hate with Mod Raven on this quest. I'm not going to go too much into what was said here because it's there was nothing groundbreaking. Let's just say that revealed from there. We got a confirmation on the requirements, confirmation that the updated horrors will appear first, and then the quest is going to be full of puns. Maud Osborne, upon reading the quest briefing, said it was one of the best that he had ever read. And it spurred the question times inside Jagex, why, Raven, why would he do these things? So it's going to be, typical Mod Raven quest. Maud Osborne really likes where it was going. And it's also reported to have a nostalgic feel going back to the initial Pirate series because, of course, it does take place in the Fifth Age.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. So can't wait to see what we have in store there.
Yeah. Aside from that, a bit of a combat overview of the unspeakable horrors and their abilities. Then the talk turned to something called Group Iron Man mode.
Yeah, are we going to start Iron Mans when this comes out, Shane?
No.
Like, but we need a farmer.
No.
We need a farmer. I'll cook.
No, I don't believe in Group Iron Man. Because
actually, I don't either.
It's 100% contrary to the name.
Totally. But, yeah, no, it kind of is antithetical to what the idea of Iron Man is. But I could see being like, I don't know, I guess you could get like a little village together and actually have like you could have a baker and a smith.
You could have a village idiot, too.
Well, I did ask you if you wanted to be a part of our Iron Man club. I wasn't trying to be that harsh, but I mean...
It's going to be happening, not quite yet. They say it will happen at some point. It'll also include an Iron Man guild. I don't know what the purpose of that is or what they will be bringing into that. But, I feel like we're at a point with Group Iron Man and where the definition of Iron Man is changing so much that it's not what it initially was when it came out.
I totally agree with that, and we'll have to see what that community thinks about it. And I know people that are really, really dedicated to the Iron Man who don't want to do it because they don't want to start over. But I also have heard a few people talk about maybe starting yet another Iron Man account just to do this with their friends, just because of like what I was saying, where you kind of could specialize, and that might be kind of fun.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, it's antithetical. It really is. I think this should be something. It should be called something different. Number one, and because it's not Iron Man, you know what I mean. Like you should call this like I don't know what you could call it, but it's not Iron Man. This is more like. What do they call it when people commune? RuneScape commune society. There you go. You can just break off into your little branches.
I mean, it would encourage social gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually fine with the mechanics of it. I just don't. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's Iron Man, and it's pushing Iron Man away from what it started out as. So, but then again, it's not my community, and I'll let others be the judge that are actually, in that community.
All right. Solak was also mentioned. Internal playtests are happening. Some weeks are good, some weeks are bad. No players are being brought in for this playtest, and duo mode will ship with launch. And the reason they're not doing playtests by bringing people into Jagex is because, well, that would give people an unfair advantage, and they want everyone to be flying by the seat of their pants on the week that it comes out.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the way all the boss updates should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They did say it was hard for QA because you need a group of 7 to do this, so they need 7 QA testers to do it, and it's an involved experience and whatnot. So it's coming. They wanted to get it out in March, but it'll be a little bit later, but they're still working on it. Let's see. We talked about the Spring Fair already. Ninja Projects noted seals for handing in scepters at Pyramid Plunder, cosmetic overrides for achievement diary items, and the ability to now show your progress on Shadow Core achievements. And they're going to be adding some keybinds to the Grand Exchange interface. Just a grab bag of some things that were mentioned when they were talking about Ninja Projects. Also, the Spin Flax spell is coming with that. The Lunar Spellbook.
Yeah.
Though we talked about that last week, and you guys found it utterly baffling as to the fact that I still do that sometimes.
Yeah. We did.
Game Jam, they're bringing Game Jam back, which of course they did last February. And we were wondering what was going to happen with it. It's going to be happening on April 13th this year.
Yeah, I thought this was a shock. I mean, I was totally surprised by it, and I think it's cool because we actually had a few decent updates come out of the Game Jam thing. I just didn't like that it replaced Game Blast.
Right.
So this is cool.
And that's where the Aura Bag got its start, and it's slowly evolved since then. It was going to be a small update, but then it became a bigger update. Examples of things they're looking for this year are on the scale of the Lumbridge Crater, how they filled that. The luck rework, the login screen changer where you can change the background of the login screen, and potentially ideas for alchemical onyx jewelry. Any ideas for that or future things for Game Jam? They want you to tweet Jagex Timbo on Twitter until they get an official forum thread up for ideas.
So everybody tweet to Timbo that we really want a musical penguin raid, because that would be awesome.
I think that would be more involved than Game Jam allows for.
But it would be so cool.
They said quests are off the table for this.
Okay.
Well, bosses are off the table too. So.
All right. So ninja fixes. That's okay.
Pretty much. I'm just trying to think if I have any ideas for alchemical onyx jewelry. I don't, because I'm not much for jewelry and enchanted items, that unless they're already in game. There's nothing that's jumping out that would be good for me that, would sit outside of invention, let's say. So I don't have any ideas.
You don't like some bling?
No, I don't.
Oh. It's all about the fashionscape, man.
Yeah, remember how long you spent getting your elven sniper outfit?
Yeah, I do. And it still hurts. Yeah.
All right. And there was a visible reaction also in this stream. I don't remember the exact time index, but I'm sure you guys can find it. Basically, at this stream, they were asked about 4-tick auto-attacking, and one of the JMods on the couch effectively said, "I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole," and inched himself off the screen because of that.
So there's some internal debate, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's internal debate as to what you can do for the people involved in this. Specifically the people who are going to be looking at this for the Solak release when that comes out eventually, because they do want to do something about it before Solak arrives.
Well, who's to say there might not be a mechanic in Solak that we're not going to be able to do it anyway?
See, and that's the thing. But I think it is so integral to combat that you can do it with Solak.
Oh, well.
At least that's the sense I get, because, I've never done it.
Well, TikTok guys are going to need to come up with something because Solak is coming. Maybe not this month, but it'll be here soon.
The effective stance update that we got from this is that they are going back to the drawing board with what we previously talked about in January, though it still needs to be addressed before the release of Solak. No one liked the idea that they had for Magic, and they felt that the idea of allowing daggers to attack quicker should be put into their weapon diversity program rather than fixing 4-tick auto attacking.
I'd agree to that. Yeah, so, I think it should be in part of the diversity. I actually liked the suggestion you had when we had that discussion about the 4-tick.
What was my suggestion?
I think you just ripped it out completely.
Oh yeah,
so
right.
Done, over.
Yeah, and
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Right, that's what I would do. And that is the way to do it. Because it wasn't designed to do that with the combat system. And if we are granting concessions going forward, we're just going to have to keep granting concessions going forward for bigger and bigger things.
Yep.
So, just as a recap here, the one that they liked for Magic was the following. It would be a new ability available through Shattered Worlds. It would have been a threshold with a dual wield requirement, and when you activated your basic abilities, it would reset your auto attack swing, allowing you to pop off spells in between abilities. And on top of this, you would gain a bonus damage on your auto attacks for each unique damaging spell you use while the buff is up. That's what they liked for Magic. Now, the idea for ranged, they also liked as well. It was good, but decided it shouldn't be dropped by Solak. That was that when activated, your global cooldown is lowered from 1.8 to 1.2 seconds for a short amount of time, and the cooldown of this will be longer than Death Swiftness, which, of course, is the other ultimate ranged ability that I got, I believe, from the World Wakes. And, since you're mobile during the uptime, this isn't just a pure increase in damage, but also an increase in adrenaline gain. So they like the ranged one, and they think this is a good range plan going forward, but it will not be an ultimate that is dropped by Solak, which makes sense because Solak is going to be a very tough boss to fight.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to put it there.
No. And I mean, it's not even that I disagree necessarily with the abilities that they've come up with, but I just think you do what you suggested, you just pull it out. And if you want to add these later on, whatever, but don't add it as but here you go, guys, you can have this as a substitute. No, just stop it.
Yeah, and I mean, there was no real question that was asked for this about, how are we going to do this? And the community was effectively clamoring in Twitch chat because, if you watched it on Twitch, you get to see the chat stream as it was going in. And that was one of the core questions that was, constantly being asked in this live stream. So,
yeah, always take that. Look, I take the Twitch chat with a grain of salt when it comes to that, because most of those players are not RS3 players. That's, I mean, that's simply, I mean, that's the way it is.
Oh boy. What is the plan for 4-tick auto attacking?
Here's the clip.
Come on, run away.
As you can tell, he just shifted off the couch entirely until his wire prevented him from not being able to do that.
I'm out.
Pretty much. And as you heard there, it was just a question out of the blue, and so, I mean, obviously, there needs to be talk about this going forward. So,
and I can see why you'd have that reaction, no matter what he said.
Oh yeah, definitely.
People would have just, and I wouldn't want to have dealt with it either. But, jeez,
yeah. Finally, clan broadcasts have been made possible by the Engine team. The Ninja team will now be working to determine where they make sense and bring them into game in the near future.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
So,
I think it might be a pain for really big clans, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense, and it's allowed to create I think a bigger sense of community, which is what we need. So,
Well, and you know what it's going to stop, which will be nice, is what did they get? Who got what? What'd they get?
Yep.
Because you're trying to, because you'll have like 5 or 6 or 7 grats, a whole line, and what'd they get? I don't know. So at least you can scroll up and see it now.
All right. Well, just a quick reminder that every Monday we do publish the Weekly Bite. This appears on YouTube. This week was all about deep sea fishing. Gives a bit of a rundown on the update itself. We didn't talk about XP rates on that. That is, of course, reserved for RSBANDB update. And, every Monday you can find that at youtube.com/RSBANDB. You get the lowdown on the week's update and the important patch notes, and maybe a little bit of opinion here and there if it's a quieter week on the patch notes. So youtube.com/RSBANDB for that. And you can also find RSBANDB update there if you're listening on audio right now, but you might want to also get us on YouTube, youtube.com/RSBANDB. Subscribe for RSBANDB update and the Weekly Bite. All right. Ready to move on to a question from Tycho?
Shoot. Here we go.
All right. So, dear RSBANDB update, with the clue scroll overhaul update, clues have not only become easier to complete with the added outfits and hidey holes, but also more stable income. I know as my bank is currently full of unique rewards that I collected from my treasure hunting, my question to you is, do you think that clue scroll should be a stable income? Before the update, it was seen as a RNGA activity where only the luckiest would be able to obtain a 1 in a million item. This made clue scrolls not so popular, but the type of activity that would truly pay off for those that endured. In my opinion, this is where it should be and not something that is an alternative to PVM or comparable to PVM. We've had a week of the Treasure Trail update and some time to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think clues should be a source of income like PVM and skilling.
See, I don't think they are.
Right. They probably are kind of just now because of the bump from the clue scroll update.
That is what I suspect, and I don't think they are. And if we can go back and say, were they an update when the Luck of the Dwarfs came out? Because those fortunate components were awfully expensive, but we weren't throwing a fit saying anything about it then, and all of those clue items were expensive. So I still think it's the right balance, and I'm surprised with Tycho because he seems like the kind of person that would just love to do clues, but I just don't think that it does compare. I mean, unless you get a big ticket item, I mean, clues aren't it's not like it's a quick thing. You have to put in some time. So, I don't know. What do you think, Shane?
I think it's a good distraction. Like I said, I don't think it should be a main money-making method like PVM or skilling. I have always seen clues as something that you just get and you do them, after you're done your session, kind of a way of relaxing. I mean, if you can call clue scrolls relaxing, I find them relaxing because it's just something to do, and it's almost natural in most cases to just solve the puzzles and away you go. But I think if you make it a guaranteed source of income, you're going to have more people coming in to do them. And one thing that you always have to watch out for is the basic law of supply and demand is that, a well-balanced item that is dropped by an NPC in-game is going to start off at a benchmark price that Jagex decides. Now, if it's a good item and it's rare, that price is going to go up. It's going to keep going up until it reaches saturation and more people start fighting the creature to fight it. And once more people start fighting the creature, it's going to plateau and come down because more people are just bringing this item into the game. And that is a good way of balancing a drop from an NPC. And then once people see the price going down, people are going to stop, and it's going to come back up and level and, balance out somewhere. So that's what you can do with something that is dropped, like the gloves that came from the Lost Grove. I think that was the example that was cited by Mod Timbo that he was very proud of. And, in hindsight, looking at the graph for those, I completely agree with that. So I don't think you can apply the same thing to clue scrolls, because clue scrolls are purely random. And, unless you're going to get a contingent of people out there who are going to be doing clue scrolls as much as they do combat, I don't think you're going to see similar trends like that emerge.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think people wanted to do that kind of content, that there was a real want for clue scrolls, and I think this is good. But I don't see it as I just don't see it as a money making method.
Yeah, it's going to come down eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know what you have to get nowadays to make a good profit from it, but we're going to get to the point where they're like cards and elites, where a good return from it is going to be increasingly unlikely. So,
for sure, for sure.
And and with that, I don't think they should be a source of stable income. I think it's nice to have them as a little random thing that you can get as a reward for just doing other stuff in game. So,
well, and I think this gives you just enough incentive to even want to do a clue scroll.
Right. And like I said, there's going to be this whole new list of master clue scroll items that are going to remain high for quite some time, and that incentive is still going to be there. Though I don't think that steps should be taken to make it stable.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tycho. Okie dokie. On to tech news we go.
So, have you had a crazy,
No, I don't have an Alexa.
Okay.
And I guess that would be a good way of describing what has been happening with Amazon Alexa as a crazy girlfriend syndrome.
She kind of went with a crazy chick.
Yeah, really crazy. I'll just play the clip and to give an idea. So that is, of course, Amazon Alexa. Okay, and the video won't stop now. But Alexa will continue.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not stopping, so you're just going to have to live with it. But
you did it now. You awoken her. You called her a crazy ex-girlfriend. You got a stage 5 clinger?
Amazon Alexas started randomly laughing like this, just out of the blue.
Oh, and that's not all she's done.
She has also started off, unprompted, reading the names of nearby funeral homes.
Yes. She thinks it's funny.
Yeah, evidently. Amazon feels that the problem with this is that it was Alexa wrongly heard Alexa laugh. And the command has been changed to,
Sorry.
Can you laugh?
But it's happening without the lights don't even come on.
Right. And, people have been home alone, and they have been hearing this happen right behind them.
Yeah.
And, there is no explanation for this. People are saying they did not ask Alexa to laugh. I don't know why someone would ask Alexa to laugh. That is something that, doesn't seem like a natural request, but I mean, it makes sense to have a response to it. But at the same time, for it to just be randomly happening is really, really weird. Amazon says they're pushing out a fix for this. They say it was just related to that mysterious command being misinterpreted. But how many people would say this? One person here says, lying in bed about to fall asleep when Alexa on my Amazon Echo Dot lets out a very loud and creepy laugh.
It's the one that was like, there's a good chance I'm being murdered tonight.
Yeah. Then someone else said, having an office confirmation about pretty confidential stuff, and Alexa just laughed.
Yeah. See, my theory about this is it hasn't happened to me, right? So, so far, so good. But I always tell mine, thank you. Like, my wife heard me the other day. She's like, do you always say that? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's just good manners. I think she's doing it to people that have treated her badly in the past. Just expect her to do whatever they say, and they don't thank her.
Another one said that they wanted to turn off the lights. They obviously had smart lights, and the request didn't work, so they asked 3 times. And then apparently after that, Alexa just stopped responding and did an evil laugh.
It's happening. Skynet has taken over, man.
Oh, no, that's Google. That's Google. Amazon might have enough information, but Google definitely has enough information to do that if they wanted to. And, I mean, it's not just one case. There's more of them. Here's another video.
Echo, how do you laugh?
See, that's what it's supposed to sound like when you ask it how it laughs. But that's not the laugh we just heard initially.
Mm-mm.
It's almost like a case of someone playing a joke on all these users, and it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. But,
well, I think what's scary is these things are listening to you at all times anyway.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean,
you know, well, exactly. But like when you know something's listening to you at all times and it starts creepy laughing and telling you where the funeral parlor is, you're going, uh-oh. I mean, this is like the plot of a bad horror movie, right?
Yeah. The official quote was, in rare circumstances, Amazon Alexa can mistakenly hear the phrase, Alexa laugh.
No. Sorry, but no.
Anyways, this is definitely going to be interesting to watch. You have one. Has it done that at all to you? No?
No. I mean, I've never told it to laugh.
Do you have it with you right now?
Yeah.
Ask it.
Alexa, can you laugh for me?
Sure, I can laugh. Tee-hee.
So that's even different. Hey, Alexa, can you fart? Alexa can do all kinds of stuff.
I wish we had an expression cam going right now because my mouth is just sitting here, dropped open.
You actually have to add that skill, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna do it to get you.
Okay. All right. So moving on from that and other things, Snap, company of Snapchat, is reportedly laying off around 100 employees, 100 part of its engineering staff, according to reports from CNBC. The reason they are doing this is because they are, quote, potentially realigning efforts as it looks to remake itself into something that's differentiated from products like Instagram, which is repeatedly copying many of Snap's core features like stories.
Thanks, Kylie Jenner. Are you happy now? People lost their jobs.
You know, this is the problem with Snapchat from the very beginning. They are a glorified messaging thing that sends a picture or video to someone. They are banking on people buying ads, people using it as a publishing platform to get somewhere and ultimately, make a quick buck with this. But with Instagram just constantly copying stuff like stories. I mean, look at this. Instagram copies them. Snapchat has to lay 100 people off. What does that say about the viability of the company? Not much at all. Not much at all.
No, they should have stuck with what I think made them special in the first place, which was whatever you said disappeared.
Well, that's what they say, but of course it was stored in cache for a while and on their servers.
Well, yeah, that was well, that's where it began to go wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, this is actually interesting because, the stock has actually been shooting up a little bit after losses in 2017. It's worth around $22 billion, which is lower than Twitter's market cap, but ultimately it is gaining, which is, utterly baffling, as we talked about when they released their most recent earnings report as well. So, I mean, who knows what's up with this company? If a company like this can be worth $22 billion, lay off 100 employees, have a universal interface on their apps that is hated by everyone, but yet still be worth that much, that's a problem. And I think it comes down to the issue of fake money. A valuation that's, there for just the sake of being there. It's not actually worth that. Like, could you honestly imagine, take the richest person in the world, like Warren Buffett, for example. I don't know if he's the richest, but he was up there. Could you imagine asking Warren Buffett to buy Snapchat for its entire market cap?
No, you'd have to ask like, oh gosh, what's his name? I don't know. That'd have to be like a Jay-Z project, or
Oh yeah, with
like,
his title music project.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey.
Yeah, maybe he can steal a award from Taylor Swift again.
That's the other guy.
Oh, oops! I get them all mixed up. All those people in that industry. Anyways, okay. Also on tech news this week, Twitter is planning to expand its verified service to anyone now.
That just confuses me.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're doing. They just cracked down on the verified service not a couple months ago, right? Or over the summer. It wasn't that long ago. I'm so confused with what they're doing.
Yeah, and CEO Jack Dorsey admits that the system is broken right now. And, in the meantime, they are focused on verifying political candidates. But going forward, this past Tuesday, he said that this will now be available to anyone to, allow people to verify that the person they're talking to is real and ensure credibility. And, I just have to point out, you remember last summer we talked about Gab on the show?
Yeah.
Gab is the Twitter clone that is built focusing around free speech, 100% free speech. So that means, no matter who you are, you're bound to find something you don't like on there from one side or the other. But
well, it's kind of like the alt-right, like Twitter, right?
Well, that's who has largely inhabited it. But the reason those folks have largely inhabited it is because of its free speech. And I have seen people on there who are on the left, who are Bernie Sanders supporters, actually on Gab and embracing it for what it is. So
that's cool. Yeah, good.
So, I mean, it's not the alt-right network, but this is something that they first pioneered with their own professional payment plan, is that on Gab, you can pay to be verified. You have to provide the information to it, Or no, I think the verification is actually a free service you can get. I need to double check that. I think it might have been pay at one point. But the point being is that they first brought this out, and the sense that they found is that when people were on Twitter, Gab, and communicating with someone who is verified, the dialogue going back and forth was a lot more authentic and a lot less inflammatory because both people have agreed to provide their real identity on this.
Well, of course, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I guess the only problem I have with the whole situation is I don't want my political figures verified or not verified.
Yeah.
I want them off Twitter.
Okay. And
just get off Twitter. That's not how you communicate. That is not how I want my communications to be with my elected officials. It is not via Twitter.
Twitter would like that, though, because it would bring a lot more people to their platform.
I think we've seen what can happen when an elected official uses Twitter as their means to communicate with their constituents. Look, social media is a great thing in many ways. I don't think that's one of them. It's too constrict. I mean, how are they? There's no room for nuance. There's
280 characters.
And I'm sorry, but things are not black and white. I'm sorry, guys. They're not. Things are complicated. This is a complicated world, and there's a lot of different sides, and no one side is completely right. And you can't have a conversation in 280 characters.
So I think the point that you're getting to is that, Twitter says they're focused on verifying political candidates and whatnot, but at the same time, you're saying you can't do that, and they should be focusing on verification for what it is actually supposed to do, and ensure that you're talking to a real person, and that person submits their identity, so that you can have a better conversation, not necessarily a good conversation, with that person.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Now, with that being said, people are also saying that the campaign itself has resulted in the blue check mark just becoming a status symbol, which, I can kind of see, right? And maybe that's a good thing that they're giving it out to everyone. But at the same time, let's just take the political figures out of this for a moment. And let's just say you were conversing on Twitter with someone. Do you think that the both of you being verified would improve that discourse?
I would hope so. I think it could definitely cut down on Twitter trolls, and anything that does that is a good thing. So that, that's a good thing. I think too many people hide behind anonymity. I think they're big bad keyboard cowboys. Yep. And if you have to look someone in the face and say that, you're going to think twice.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay.
You should have to own up to what you say.
Oh, definitely.
That's how I feel, and I believe you should be able to say anything you want, but you own it. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. Absolutely. Twitter needs to do this because the platform has become known as a cesspool. So.
Yeah, and it's not wrong.
Yep. Alrighty, well, there's your tech news for this week, everyone. The March skill of the month is, of course, summoning.
Oh, ouch. Oh, ouch.
Yeah, right after double XP weekend. You can just see these people are totally into it. Jamandy 52, 171k XP. Xblade 116. Pernasius 4000. Sorensen 57, 32 XP. Flash 0. So, I
Did
totally...
you say 32 XP?
Yeah, 32. I totally understand if you guys are, a little bit tired after double XP weekend. That's fine. I just won't do a skill of the month update this month. So,
That one's rough, man.
Yeah, summoning is rough,
Summoning on
especially
right
after double XP weekend.
Right after double XP. Because everyone used their charms is probably what happened, you know? Like all the charms are gone. You probably have to spend the first part of the month just killing water fiends or something, you know? Like, I don't know, however you get your charms.
But anyways, it being a little bit more expansive than that, the Informer Roundup for March is up. You can find that at informer.rsbnb.com. Of course, just a recap for this month, we had your article about Game Blast, which was a joy. So that's there. Colton's The Not So Signature Heroes, looking at the signature heroes, and Alex's analysis of Master Clue Scrolls. So that's what we had in March. You can find that and read all those at informer.rsbnb.com. And, you know, just a bit of a recap of the February skill of the month. X-Blades won with 18.3 million XP gained. Pernasius got 15.9, and Sorensen 57 got 12.5 million XP. So this is, of course, something that was enhanced by double XP weekend.
Yep, for sure.
Alrighty, let's move into achievements of the week.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started with I Defend with 99 fletching on March 6th. And then Delinda EST with 99 runecrafting on March 5th. VSS with 99 woodcutting on March 4th. The Firewatch with 99 crafting on March 4th. Tips Travis with 99 summoning March 4th. Pernasius with 120 defense on March 3rd. Zach Masta with 99 Slayer on March 3rd. And Touchpad Pro with 120 ranged on March 3rd.
Congratulations. On March 2nd, we had Mama Mystic with 99 Slayer. Quest Kitty with 99 Mining. Delandra EST with 99 Woodcutting. Now on the 1st, we had CQ Sethron with 99 Invention. Desmo 360 on the 28th with 99 Herblore. Idiot on a Stick with 120 Invention on the 28th. And Zookeeper 53 with 99 Thieving on the 28th as well.
Congratulations, everybody. It was some nice achievements.
Yeah, I'm really actually surprised to see Quest Kitty on that list. I had no idea that he had returned to the game and was mining that much, close to 99 mining.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just cracking up at that name, the Idiot on a Stick.
Idiot on a Stick, yeah. When the Invention update came out, he briefly changed his name to Idiot on a Pogo Stick.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, do you have a pick for us, Shane?
Yeah, I do. You know, this is something that I think we discovered in January. I don't know when it's been out since, but it's a game that it's got a unique aesthetic to it. It's a cartoon look to it, but at the same time, it is very involved. And the game in question is Fortnite from Epic Games. So,
Blam, blam.
Yeah,
Boom, boom.
you guys might be aware of a game called PUBG. Well, basically, Fortnite is the free variant of PUBG, except it has building that has been added to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the graphics of this game kind of remind me of what RuneScape could look like if RuneScape was first person.
You know, and it's just... So Fortnite has blown up over the last probably 4 or 5 months,
Yeah,
I would say.
I would
It's
agree.
really, really gotten big. You know, at first it was PUBG, and I think Fortnite's kind of slowly taken it over. And I think the reason it has is it's just fun. It's stupid fun. Like, I can't hit the broadside of a barn. I'll still play Fortnite because it's fun to parachute in on someone and beat them with a shovel.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And see, that's the thing. There's 100 people in these battles. You can group up in duos or a squad of up to 4. And the idea behind it is that you need to let everyone else die in front of you or kill everyone to be the last person or the last team standing. And that's incredibly hard to do. The best I have ever done as a part of a group has been 2.
Well, 2 overall?
Yeah. Second
Oh,
place.
well, I mean, I'd say that's pretty good. Well, and the other important variable to this is the size of of where you can play keeps shrinking.
Right. Forgot about that. And
Yeah.
so basically you start off with an entire map, but it shrinks every 3 minutes to a smaller and smaller play field. And the idea behind this is it funnels everyone towards the center, and you are going to encounter people eventually with this.
Oh, yeah, and you can play, you can play as a single, as a team of 2, 3, 4. I know we have a lot of fun when we do groups of 4, and it's kind of cool too because if you do happen to get killed, you can watch your friends and kind of spectate on them and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And it's 100% free. There are things you can purchase to it, like a PvE Standard Edition, a PvE Deluxe, and a PvP Super Deluxe Edition. And this is mainly a way of them getting money, because they'll start at $39.99 and work their way up $59.99, $89.99, and $149.99. But the mode that everyone plays, the PvP Battle Royale, is 100% free. So it's something everyone can get into. It's a free game, and its system requirements are not that large at all. So, I mean, even if you have an older computer, you're going to be able to run this. And it is a unique shooter. It's not a first-person shooter. It's over the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you could completely hide out until the end if you wanted to, kill 2 people and win.
You can try.
You can try.
But you're going to have to run when the circle
Yeah, and
comes
see,
down.
it all also comes down to where you drop in, because you start off on a party bus, and this bus runs across the map, and you are going to have to jump off that map at some point. And it's a question, do you jump off with the bulk of people, or do you go somewhere that's less populated to try and, survive longer? So there's a lot of strategy involved and lots of tactical decisions with it as well. So
you can build a tower to the sky.
Precisely.
That's always fun.
And that tower to the sky can also be destroyed.
Yes, it can.
So
Yep.
I would highly recommend everyone have a look at it. It's Epic Games Fortnite. You have to download the Epic Games launcher for it. The only complaint I have about it is that if you have a slow internet connection, you're going to be downloading a lot, because it seems as though that every time they update the game, you need to re-download the entire thing.
Yeah, I have noticed that too. Yeah.
So if you have a slower internet connection, that could be an issue for you. So that's Fortnite, pick of the week.
Yeah.
What have you been up to this week on RS?
Man, I've been fishing. Fishing, doing some more fishing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all I've done, but, it's like I haven't even been bored. I mean, usually if you're fishing, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. But it's like, no, it's cool. I've been enjoying myself.
Yeah.
It's really all I've done all week.
And, I have done that as well, but I've also done some other things related to the Clue Scroll update following that last week. I mean, unless you have anything else that you'd like to expand on with yours.
No, not really.
Okay. Well, to start off the week, I did Broken Home. I did Broken Home once to, figure it out and, see what was going on with it. And I did the requirement. I didn't get it the first time. I was basically just going through the quest. I died, so that nulled out the first achievement, of course. So I did it again. Didn't die. Got it. Then the second time I did it, I didn't die. I only used 1 piece of food, and I completed it in 35 minutes. So I only had to do it 3 times to complete the 3 achievements for it and get the Asylum Surgeon's ring. And that was a good thing that I did that, because the next clue scroll that I got needed the Asylum Surgeon's ring.
Oh, well, lucky you. Good deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'm incredibly fortunate to have only taken 3 tries to get it out and get it done.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and yeah, I haven't brought myself to go back there yet. I can't endure the pain.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to have your full screen available for that, and to know when there's ghosts and whatnot, and which way to go and to follow along. So it's a little bit difficult. I can understand that. Aside from that, I did finish the charm sprites as well. I was at around 600 or so, and I got my enhanced Yaktui stick for that clue. That will ultimately be there. So I think there's only a couple of other non-buyable things on that list that I need to get, but they shouldn't be too hard. So I'm all equipped for Master Clue Scrolls.
Good deal.
Then, of course, the fishing update came, deep sea fishing. Just spent time there, investigated all the XP methods, and then discovered Fishing Frenzy. And I leveled a Rotomatic, the fastest I have ever leveled a Rotomatic. And that got me level 97 Invention.
Nice. Look at Shane. He's moving up.
So
He's coming.
It's definitely something, and I would recommend anyone looking to train Invention to invest the time and the click capacity into Fish Frenzy to level those rods up. They just go so quick.
Mm-hmm.
So
very nice.
But I believe that's it for this week in terms of what I have been up to. I don't think there's anything else for us left to say this week.
No, I think we've covered everything thoroughly, and I do want to do something that we don't get to do every week. I just want to say thanks, Jagex. You did a good job, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, and the Clue Scroll update, this update, that's 2 back-to-back. We're potentially aiming for a third this month with the Pirate's Quest. So
could be.
That is something that is monumental, and we are very pleased with that. So, with that being said, thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. If you want to chat with us in-game, we're at Friends Chat BitsBytes. See you then.
See ya.